I am thrilled to be back again with the quite miraculous Colette Baron-Reid. Hi, Colette.
Hi, me and little Bizou here.
I would love to start off by having you share how you came to live a miraculous life.
In the manifestation process, we have a mechanical part of us that works for us when we rehearse something over and over again. And if you rehearse something that's negative, you're going to see more reason to see it in the outer world. And so it's about intentional synchronicity.
How do you help people surrender?
When you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's when you're going to give it up. You're going to give it to that power greater than you. Our curiosity is our superpower. If we are in high stress and in doubt and in fear, we have to really admit and surrender to the fact that that's actually happening, and we are co-conspirators without even knowing it. Once you get, oh, I'm the common denominator here, is there something else?
Welcome to Living in the Miracle Zone. This is the place to be if you want to live in the flow of synchronicities and miracles in your everyday life. I'm your host, Marci Shimoff. I'm a #1 New York Times bestselling author, a teacher in The Secret, and the creator of the worldwide program, Your Year of Miracles. And I have spent my life studying happiness and miracles. And in this podcast, we bring to you extraordinary miracle stories that will inspire you and groundbreaking miracle tools that will show you how to live your most miraculous life. So, welcome to the Miracle Zone. And I am thrilled to be back again with the amazing and beautiful and wonderful and quite miraculous Colette Baron-Reid. Hi, Colette.
Hi, me and little Bizou here, my little
Oh,
neurotic dog.
oh, love to have dogs anytime around.
Yes, yes, she's particularly needy these days. Um,
Oh, well, we're
Great. I'm so happy to see you too. I love being on your show, and I love talking to you, as you
Well
know.
well, and I the same, and so let me tell everybody a little bit about you, Colette, and, so Colette is a best-selling author. She is an internationally acclaimed oracle expert. She is a spiritual intuitive. She is a thought leader, a strategist, an artist. She's you name it, she's it. She's an educator. Colette founded the school, the Oracle School Experience and Oracle Palooza and the Dream Quest Mastermind. And she has 19 best-selling oracle card decks. Oh my God, 19 of them with over 2 million sold worldwide. She has 7 books, including her newest beautiful book called The Art of Manifesting that matches what I'm wearing here. Love it. Love that. We'll get to talk about manifesting in general and about the art of manifesting. And I just want to say that, Colette, every time I am with you, I have the biggest smile on my face.
Me
You are
too.
a blast to be around. What I love, one of the things I love the most about you is that you are deep and profound and fun at the same time. You
Thank you
got that
very
whole spectrum going, and we've gotten to be on the Transformational Leadership Council together, and
Yep.
we've gotten to enjoy lots of really good times. So I'm thrilled to have you back. And for those people who have not heard your story before, I think it's such an amazing story. I would love to start off by having you share how you came to live a miraculous life.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can give you the date I did started at. So, just really quickly, I think without telling too much of my backstory, because I think some of it's, I mean, immigrant parents, really hardworking people. I've always had the ability to sense things outside of what I should know. So that was very troubling because I didn't have anybody around to say it was okay. Even though my father had it in his family, that was not going to be the way I made a living, right? But regardless of that, I had a really difficult upbringing, although my parents were incredible people. So I just want to make that clear. They were really great, hardworking European immigrants in Canada that did everything they could for their daughters and thought their way was the way. My dad was 50 years old when I was born. He was from the old country. He was Southern Slav, right? Balkan Slav. So you can imagine, and then my mom was German and they just came out of World War II. So I'm the
Mm.
generation that came after the war. So because I had this ability, I really felt overwhelmed all the time, and I remember how I took my first drink when I was 12. I'm getting to why am I telling you this? Because I'm a recovered alcoholic and drug addict. I've been clean and sober almost 40 years, one day at a
Wow.
time, and I got clean in 9 January January 2nd, 1986, but my miraculous life began with an experience. And after really, really just hurting myself and I had violence in my 20s, et cetera, we won't go into that. But there was enough that I just didn't think I could live anymore. Like
Mm.
I was so addicted to cocaine too that in the years in the 80s when apparently it wasn't supposed to be addictive, haha. But I was in a drug dealer's bathroom. I'd come upstairs and I looked at myself in the mirror. I was so thin. Only, you don't need Ozempic when you're doing drugs, right? So, but anyway, but I was jaundiced. Like my teeth were loose. I was bleeding in the gums. I like yellow. My skin was yellow. My
Mm.
eyes were yellow. I was so thin. And I finally grabbed the side of the sink and I just said, "Help me." Now I'd always said, "Help me," but it was my idea of help me was, I promise I won't do it again and then do it right away. But I had never surrendered. I surrendered and my miraculous life began because I was surrounded by this incredible energy, and I heard a voice and I knew it was like an angel. And I didn't see an angel, but felt a presence come around me and I heard it's over. Like I heard it. It's okay now. We can, right? So even though I drank and used again on New Year's Eve, this was in the late October. I had not. I was planning on going to a treatment center on January 6th. And which Epiphany of all things, right? That's why I always have events on Epiphany. But anyway, January 2nd, I woke up. I had woken up because we were still partying at past midnight, so I couldn't call that my dry date. But anyway, when I surrendered, so it's very little about drugs and alcohol or not doing them. This is about surrendering to a power greater than myself. Now, it can be anything, right? I mean, you can be Buddhist, you can be anything. You can be Christian, it doesn't matter what your take is on this. As long as there's a sense that there is good orderly direction, that is a flow state or that there's a power greater than yourself. And I had no problem saying the word God. 12-step programs are very spiritual and and they were originally a Christian. They came from that in 1935. So, I was in a treatment center for women. I would not be alive today if I hadn't gone there. And everything made sense to me when I realized that I'd always been powerless. And the miracle was I was okay, you gotta remember how I looked. Okay. So, okay. So I was skinny. I was wearing spandex pants. I had thigh boots on with spike heels like this. Okay. I had like, I'm serious. Like I had spiky hair, like glam rock bands. I mean, I like to wear makeup, but if you could imagine even more than I have on now, like it was insane. Okay. So I march outside to go for a walk in my spike heeled boots from the treatment center and the spandex. And obviously my boot got stuck in the snow. Hello, right? Of course. What are you going to do? Right? It got stuck. I couldn't get my foot out. And I'm looking around and all of a sudden I look up and there is a tree. Now, I was forced to look at this tree. Okay. And I was like, who made this tree? Right? It was that simple. I'm like, how did it get here? What's inside it? Wait a minute, right? Like, this is life. And the tree felt like it was glowing. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not a mistake. Like, maybe there's hope for me, right? So I finally
Wow.
get the boot out of the thing and I march back into the treatment center. I'm going to tell you something. Out of 30 women, I think only two of us made it. And I was the one least likely to succeed, apparently. Everybody on my 1-year celebration, all these counselors came and they said to me, "We thought for sure you wouldn't make it." Because I was talking to spirits and I was like not able to take a shower because I was afraid something was coming in. I was a lunatic. But I wanted the miracle more than I wanted the pain, right? I
Mm.
just couldn't take it anymore. And I would go to any lengths. And so this is actually an interesting thing because over the years I realized that the spiritual path I was on was a metaphysical one. It was all about personal growth. It was all about miracles. It was all about synchronicity and it was all about manifesting. It really was when I think of it. Go ahead.
Well, so Colette, first of all, thank God that happened because we're so glad that you're here. And you know, in our Year of Miracles program, we have 5 foundations for living in the miracle zone, and the first one is trusting in the universe,
Yeah,
and that
trust the
idea
universe.
of surrender. But I want to kind of unpack that a little bit
Sure.
because that's the one most people have most trouble
Most
with.
Yeah,
And so what would you say to people? It's wonderful to say surrender, trust in the universe, it's all gonna be okay, all of that.
I
But
don't say
what
that.
what do you say to
I don't
okay,
say
so what do
that.
you say? How
Our
do you help people surrender?
It's when you are sick and tired of being sick and tired,
Mhm.
that's when you're gonna give it up. You're gonna give it to that power greater than you, right? So, for me, where I come from, I speak to an audience that has really suffered with this and struggled with this and have to. Like, I paid a high price to understand the nature of surrender. Surrendering is saying, I can't, I on no human power can do this. Like, I need a partner. So I can't, the universe can, I'm going to have to let the universe because my way isn't working. Right. So I'm saying, like, how's that working for you? Because if you don't need the universe, go do your thing. But if it's not working out exactly the way you want, maybe you might want to give that up. You can always get your pain back. You can always take it back anytime. Right. Why don't you try it? So, me, it's like, I don't say, "Oh, everything's gonna be okay," because guess what? It's not always gonna be okay.
Right,
We're still
right,
going to suffer. I think that people have got this all wrong, that the idea of a spiritual path means that they're going to be, released from all suffering and all doubt and all dimensions of difficulty. As a matter of fact, I think things get more difficult before they get better because you have to be willing to go into the shadow parts, go into the basement of your psyche and find out the forbidden parts of yourself that you've tried to shove under a carpet. And then to find out what your purpose is, which isn't about going out and looking for a purpose. It's our purpose is to remember that we aren't broken, right? Our purpose is to remember the magic that happens when we take what is suction cupped onto the end of our nose, our conditioned self, and say, what else is there? And you want to know what else too? Is our curiosity is our superpower. That's what I learned. If we are in stress and high stress and in doubt and in fear, which by the way, we're conditioned to be like that, right? We have to really admit and surrender to the fact that that's actually happening and we are co-conspirators without even knowing it, right? We don't even know that we're doing it. We've allowed it. So once you get, oh, I'm the common denominator here, is there something else? So it's one of the reasons I don't spend hardly any time on my phone. I don't go on my phone and look at short things. I go to the computer if I need to look for something or whatever, and I phone my friends. Like, I don't do social media much. I go on there, and if people speak, my team tells me, "Hey, these people made comments," and I'll go there and I'll do it. But I don't have TikTok. I don't scroll. I don't do any of that because it's really screwed up. It screws me up because that's all they're going to show me when I click on. And I spoke one day, I really like Skims underwear, right? This is my favorite story. And I'm like, I love Skims underwear. I said it out loud to a friend. Oh my God, this stuff fits me. I love it. It's so great. Next thing you know, I got all these ads for Skims on
right.
my phone. Like, they listen. So we lose our agency, right? And so I am interested because I received my agency back when I got clean and sober and I started working this program. I had absolutely nothing. I didn't have a pot to piss in, and I felt like the richest person on the planet. It was
Mhm.
that feeling state in advance of actually seeing the physical out picturing of that. When I maintain that connection and that sense of awe and reverence and amazing gratitude to that, I mean, it's deeply spiritual. I will see the evidence at some point. But if I chase something and I've got my claws on it, like, I teach that, let go, like, trust that. And I also, what's really, really important, and we can talk about that later, but it's how we get so attached because that's also what we've been conditioned to do. More or something else, or like what I want, when I want it. Like, that there was this great Asian comedian that works sometimes on the Daily Show. He's hysterical, and for his life of me, I can't remember his name. But he has this hysterical stand-up comedy routine where he talks about Amazon. "Why? I want it now. I want it yesterday. I want you to
Yeah.
pre-get it for me. I want you to think about what I might want and then send it." Right? Because that's how we are.
Well, I really appreciate so much. I agree with everything you've just said, and I this idea that first of all that we are conditioned for the negative. It's kind of it's called the negativity bias. The
Yeah,
scientists
it's
call
our
it
brain.
that. That our brains are we tend to hold on to the negative more like Velcro. We Velcro the negative and we Teflon the positive. The positive slide off of us more. It was inherited from our caveman ancestors. So when we
Mhm.
blame ourselves for that tendency,
Yes.
that's adding insult to injury. But what you're saying here is recognize that that is a tendency. Stop, don't blame yourself, and but be careful what it is you're gonna feed yourself, because
Yes.
your job is to take care of what you're taking in, what you're feeding yourself. And then also, I just wanna go back to this idea of surrender because
Mhm.
I wanna add in one little piece to it. And that is, you don't have to be a drug addict or
No,
rock bottom or any of that to
I was
surrender, to
stubborn.
say, "Hey, you know what? This old way isn't working.
Mhm.
Let me open up and see as an experiment,
Yeah,
curiosity. Let
experiment.
me just see what happens if I kinda just let go a little bit more, trust a little bit more, surrender, and see what happens."
Yeah,
And, I know that our conversation, I wanna talk about manifesting, and you
sure.
just said something really interesting, and that was, I felt the shift first
That's
before
right.
I saw something manifested. And so talk, if you would,
Yeah.
about the whole idea of manifesting, but not needing it to look that certain way, but how you
No, as
feel
a
it
matter of
first.
fact, so one of the things, like in my body of work that changed over the past couple of years is because I do a vision board challenge every year at the beginning of the year. And I started questioning what I was doing. I started looking at it. There's got to be more because we're being a little specific here. Because yes, you can actually call in the specific thing that you saw, but what if there was something better? And what if that
Yes.
wasn't the thing after all in the end? So I started creating these boards with a big empty space around it that I called the zone of synchronicity. And so we would draw these because all my vision board stuff now is hand drawn. It's very rudimentary. Anybody can do it. You don't even have to have 1 ounce of talent. If your circles look like potatoes, awesome. So it's like you put these circles in that space and go, hey, surprise me. Whatever is meant to be for me, you pick. I think it's the thing in here. That's what I think, but I'm gonna let you actually be the picker instead of because if this isn't for me, I would like to know that, right? I would really like to know that. I would rather you give me the thing that's matching my feeling state. So I practice the concept of manifestation from the state of rehearsed feeling. Right, the rehearsed feeling state that has nothing to do with the actual outcome. Because we are outcome driven, that's where we can get into trouble, and my life is a perfect example of that because the way I chased a career. So this career that I have now, I started doing readings, I think, 36 years ago, I started doing readings, and that was a way for me to make a living while I was, waiting for a record deal because I was in the music industry, right? And I was like, "I'm gonna pursue music, pursue music." I had a band, it was all girl band called Isis. You can't use that now, but whenever it was the goddess, right? Now you can't say that. But I mean, and I was a backup singer in all these different bands, and I did a lot of, recording stuff, but, nothing was turning out the way I thought, and everything was turning out with the readings, and I would tell people, "I don't really do this. I'm really a singer. Don't come back next year. I'm not doing this." Meanwhile, I'm like, but they kept coming. So I was like, this is weird. And after 6 years, now you got to remember something. There was no internet. We didn't even have, we still call each other on payphones. There was no internet, wasn't even invented yet at that point. There was no social media. There was no way people had to write my phone number down on a piece of paper and hand it to a friend at dinner in an airport. One day, when it really hit me that there was something to this, because I kept praying to show me what is in the highest good. How can I serve in the highest good? P.S. I want a record deal. This is what it look like. I want to be. I really want to touch people with the stories of my life and, and do it that way. I saw myself with a microphone. So, like, the universe is going, okay, one day we're going to give you that microphone. We can go with Hay House, but I think it's singing. So I'm like, whoa. Right. So I'm like struggling and doing whatever. And I didn't ever advertise for this. So somebody called me from India. They said they were calling from New Delhi. I think it's changed the name now, right? And that Delhi, and I thought he was, and I heard crackle crackle, and I thought he was telling me he was calling up the road from the Delhi. Right? I didn't understand it. A very heavy Indian accent. Yeah, there were 2 Delhis. One of them was Korean, the other one was an Indian guy. So I thought it was him. And he's like, I said, "How did you get this number?" He says, "I my, I used to love to be able to share this with my accent, but I will not because it is rude." But he was like saying, I heard about you in an airport. And this man who was actually the guy, I can't remember his name now, but he was in charge of all the big new age festivals in New Zealand and Australia way back then. That was huge. Denise Lynn was talking in front of 1,000 people in these audiences way back then, right?
Yes.
And that's how she found me too, is to the same man. So I got these people from all over the world calling. And by the time that 6 year was over, I had a client, one of each, I counted 29 countries, 29 different countries people called me. And here I'm trying to quit. Right? Here I'm like, I don't really
Ye
do this. Like, what was wrong with my head? Here's what was wrong with my head, because the life that I decided was the right life for me, and the one I did, like, all the because I learned about it doing vision boards and all that from Unity Church. As soon as I got sober, I got into all this, like, new thought, and manifesting way back then. So I'm like putting all these pictures up and doing all this stuff, and I am a walking example of when it was safe. I really believe this. When it was safe for me and I wouldn't kill myself, I got the record deal. I was 40 years old,
Mhm.
just when I didn't care anymore. I'd already been flying all over the world doing readings for people. They'd invite me to London. They'd invite me to, Santa Fe, to New York, to, like, to all these different places, to Dublin. I would, like, get on planes and go all these places. I had a great life. And then I had done a meditation CD, and then the head of Virgin Records had it and loved it and went to EMI Music, and I got discovered by the label that I put on my vision boards, okay? All these years, that turned me down, said I had no talent and didn't remember. And the next thing you know, there I am, and there was a song on the end of it, and they heard it and they loved it. It was a meditation CD, Journey Through the Chakras, and the rest was history, because I ended up doing all those things. I recorded 2 albums, and the music business was the worst experience of my life. And
It
I got everything I wanted, and
Yeah.
I would have drank.
Eh
I was too old, too fat, too this, not enough that, too strange, not we couldn't pinpoint me, right? And I had great critical acclaim for the work, and I was gonna die.
Yeah.
And I quit.
And so what's so great about this, I always have a phrase that I use, which
Yeah,
is this,
right?
"This or something better."
Yeah.
Because we don't know what's best for us. And, the other opportunity came to you when you let go, when you didn't need it, when you didn't want it. There it was. You got to experience it and you realized this isn't for me. And so
Right.
there it's y y
You
I
can manifest anything, but
yes.
I believe in, because I was also doing the work. I was changing myself. I was evolving. I was peeling the onion skins. I was doing so much work on myself. Not to make to It was like putting the pieces together back together again, where I could remember who I really was and not live my life through my wound, of all the things
Yes.
that had happened to me, and really start to change. And I'll be honest with you, I'm still doing that work right now. It's not over. It's a forever thing. But I will say this, that what I learned was, even the concept, this or something better, now manifests for me. Who decides what's better? That's what I started questioning, because I always put that on my vision boards. I have 42 vision boards with that big letters on it, like, just in case. But then I'm like, well, what am I really saying? This right here, or something better, better for me, that I think is better. Right. That was the other thing. I'm going, well, whose idea? What better? Which is better? Right. And then I was like, no, I'm not even gonna say that anymore. Like, you picked for me. Here's how I want to feel. Here's how I think this is going to make me feel like that. That's why I want it. But if you know it won't, okay, great
And
story.
that's
Let me,
what I mean by something better. I
yes.
mean, the universe's
Yeah.
design is something better, not my thinking of something better.
Right.
The
And I know that.
universe's design of what matches what it is, how I want to feel, which is really
Yes.
the ultimate point of this all. And I want to make sure that we talk about your new process for manifesting because
Yeah.
how did this come about? You have this whole
So
new
I'll tell
perspective
you
now.
how it happened. And I will show you guys the book. I'm shamelessly self promoting The Art of Manifesting
Which is
because,
a fabulous I love this new concept you have.
yeah, it's amazing. I okay, so backtrack. Way back when I used to make a living painting on people's clothes. During the pandemic, I had a lot of anxiety, so I started painting again towards the end of it, 2021. I ended up painting all these things and I started getting back to art. So I broke my foot and I couldn't stand in front of a canvas. So I started looking at line art. I went down a rabbit hole. I was stuck in bed for 6 weeks. So
Mhm.
I started going on YouTube and I took a class for 7-year-olds, right, on line art drawing. And I'm like, this is fun. And then I stumbled upon the neuro arts, the blueprint for the neuro arts, which is a multidisciplinary study on how how music, art, dance, any kind of artistic thing actually impacts neuroplasticity, right?
Mm,
And since in the manifestation process, and I don't care what you teach, this is for all of us. The way we engage it is there's a part of us, we have a mechanical part of us that works for us when we rehearse something over and over again. And if you rehearse something over and over again that's negative, you're going to see more reason to see it in the outer world. So the reticular activating system of the brain, which is the sorting system of the brain, very simple, takes your eyeballs, lights up the runway to say, see that thing you're rehearsing? There you go, right? And so it's about intentional synchronicity. It is because all things, think about anything you ever got that was amazing, how you met Sergio, how we met, like all these things. It's like they're all through synchronicity. They aren't because you put A plus B equals C and C is exactly what I'm going to get. No, sometimes A plus B is going to be Z and then D and then and then it'll have numbers, right? Right? It'll be something. So I realized that I kind of went backwards on what worked for me and what didn't. Whenever I had angst about something and I had attachment to something, the hungry ghosts, right? They woke up in
right.
me and it ran away from me. It's like the universe went, oh, she just wants more desire. So let's let her keep wanting that. Let's make her want it for some more. Let's not give it to her. Let's let her fail. Let's show her all these things. It's not going to work. So I realized, okay, I've got nothing to lose. I'm going to
Mm,
play with this. So I started drawing and I started realizing that, oh, if I could draw something really simple, but imagine that the universe is talking to me because I am, what would I draw? So I would draw frequency lines. So if I put a dot that is me, I'll draw a line that represents the conversation that I'm having because I'm a broadcaster. I'm broadcasting the feeling state to the universe. The universe got to answer back. I know that's true. It's a thing, right? So I can just draw these weird little lines and anybody can do it. I actually taught my friend's 8-year-old kid who blew her mind, right? So you just drew these little weird lines and then you actually look and as you are feeling it, so I have an exercise about being stupefied in gratitude. That's the first one that I teach people how to do. And it's just draw circles. And just you draw circles over and over and over and over again, going, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And you're just sitting there going round and round in your arm. So you're making it real. Why? Because you're seeing it on a piece of paper. That's the symbol, right? You've made the thing real. You've worked the hand, the arm. You've now got the mind going, oh, I just saw that there. That's a representation of that. Your feeling state is so big. You've like broadcasted that. And then you just let it go. And then you can do it for specific things too. So I taught all the executives at Hay House how to do it. And to be like, 'cause I was bored. I'm like, what guys want to see this cool thing? And I made friends with this very cool art teacher named Anna Denning. I went into her membership She also taught something called neurographica, which is this Russian method that was so strict and so heady. I tried, I was like, I hate it. I want something where I could put glitter and I want to feel like free. I don't want anybody to tell me no and wank. So I'm like, okay, what would I do differently? So so I started researching shapes and stuff. And anyway, I showed and because I'm a Reiki master, I thought, how do we turn a piece of paper into a living artifact of the universe? Like, how do I make this so and anybody can do this too. I show this really cool technique of how to activate your paper, how to see what isn't there. Like I show you how to do this weird little exercise, and then these very simple things. And if you can draw shitty little circles and bad weighty lines, you can do this. And then you end up looking at this thing and realizing how beautiful it is, even though you thought you didn't have 1 ounce of talent, but everybody's looks pretty. And then you're going, oh, I feel so good. And for people who are struggling with the concept of gratitude, I tell you, if you have had a child, I just want you to go back to that memory because everybody has a sense memory. When you smelled that kid's head or when you felt that baby in your arms for the first time, what did you feel? Right? What was that feeling? For me, I never had kids, but I've rescued dogs. And
Yes.
I've also, right, had and I remember Gazoo when she came because I lost another dog. Maybe Ollie was my soulmate to a brain disease. And this little one came, and I was just so overwhelmed with gratitude and awe, and I smelled her. So I go back to that moment when I get too squirrely about wanting to be grateful in advance of the thing I want. Instead, I'm going to go, that's how I feel when I am grateful and in awe of how synchronicity works. That's what I rehearse the
Mm.
feeling. And then I just let it go. Go
And
ahead.
and so all of this that
Is
you're talking
gone.
about, this process in the art of manifesting, it's brain science as well.
It's
You
brain
were sa
science plus doodle art plus talking to the universe.
So the combo of brain science, doodle art, talking to the universe. I'd love to hear an example of,
How it
of
works?
a story
I'm
of
dying
maybe
to tell
your
you.
own. Oh,
Yeah.
tell me.
Okay. So because this just happened. Okay. This summer. Well, it happened actually before the summer when we went to Europe, but this is a better story. So it can work for specific things too, right? So and I've tested it. This is not bullshit. This really works. So my husband and I decided our farm was too isolating for us. My progressed moon went into Aquarius. So I was like, I want to make friends with people. So just like all my Aquarius friends, right? So it's like, let's talk. So I said to Mark, let's get a little pied a terre in Toronto. It doesn't have to be expensive. It can be small, but well, not really, but like something where we can bring the dogs and we can have because all our really close friends live there and they've been inviting us, then we get too tired and they get right. So he said he actually agreed. He goes, you know what, you're right, because we're not going to go to Europe. We were going to move there, but like we're just let's go with our friends, people we've known for 30 years, right? So okay. So now, I wanna go to this very specific area of the city. I know because I have a flash of the beach. I know I'm seeing water. So the beaches was a place I used to live in Toronto with Mark. So we go back to the beaches. Now, I have the best credit rating. I have money. I have really good reputation. We are very clean. We wouldn't have been there the whole time. The two little dogs are completely paper trained. There is no reason like for anybody to turn us down. None. Zip. Okay. So we met all the criteria. We were turned down 3 times. And my
Oh.
realtor was like, "What is going on?" Anyway, so I'm like, "I don't get it. Like, these are perfect for us. They're exactly what we wanted, and it's I see it in my head." So anyhow, my friend says so I'm like, "I better do a drawing." I didn't draw this. I didn't draw this, did I? So I do a drawing. I'm gonna show you the drawing. Okay, so now all this is circles and lines and a little square. So this is our portal. So we show you how to do a portal.
And so for
Inside
those of you who are just listening to
just listening,
this,
I'm showing you a drawing with lines and circles and little suns and smiley faces. Okay, little smiley faces and hearts. All right,
and it's
and a place.
lovely and anybody could do this.
Really, literally anybody can do this. So, and then I colored it in. So I was just so I put the last thing. I went, okay, universe. I wanna feel really good like this. I wanna be happy. I want it to be safe. I want my dogs to be happy. I want the people to be happy we're there. I wanna have nice neighbors. I wanna feel like I'm contributing to the area. I wanna feel good, but I want it to be in the beaches. So I draw water because I kept seeing the water, right? I draw the water. I'm going, well, I'm going to put the water there because I do feel it's water. And then I put this wavy thing underneath, right? Okay, leave it alone. So this is a month later. So I decide we're gonna go look again. So we see another place in the beaches. I'm like, yay! So we're on our way. And before that, I said, okay, universe, I gave this to you. I drew it out. I told you that take it away from us. If this is not for us, I don't want to guess. Take it away. Please take it away. On our way to that to the showing, they canceled us, right? They canceled us. So my friend gets a phone call, says, "Oh, there are 2 units in this other building over there where I never wanted to go." Okay? I didn't wanna go there. I'm like, "What? I don't wanna go there. There's all this construction and everything. Why would I go?" Right? So she goes, "Oh, come on. It's a nice day. Mark's available. Let's go." So we go to this building. It's not finished. Okay. It's not finished. We go in. I say to the universe, okay, take it away. I am I wasting my time? If not, I want a billboard. You need to show me the money. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Don't I get into the first unit? It is my address. So that right. I have a very long number. That's my address here. And it's the very same number to get into the unit. So I'm freaking out. So Mark and I are like, "Oh my god," and it's perfect. But Mark says, "I have a feeling we need to go down the hall and look at this other one." I went, "Why? This is so perfect." Meh, meh. So I'm like, "Okay, I have to let his intuition go, right?" So we march down the hallway down to this other end of the building. So it goes into another building and it's much smaller, little less expensive, but not much, but less, but every window looked at an unobstructed view of the lake,
Mm.
water. And then I look down and go, what's that there past the fence? Well, there's a boardwalk that goes exactly like I drew. And I drew all the suns on the east, and we look directly east. Isn't that
Whoa.
trippy?
That
No.
is well, I
And it
I
was
would s
11:11. It was
oh,
11:11 when we walked in. Mark goes, "It's 11:11," and we just said, "We'll take it." It was so seamless. They were so happy to have us, and it was like, "Oh, you have 2 dogs? That's fantastic. We love their pictures." Like, it was like nothing,
ugh.
and they're so nice. I've the nicest neighbors. They are so kind. Everybody has dogs. You can go to restaurants with your dogs there. Like, it's the best experience. I never would have gone there.
This is such a great story,
Yeah.
and,
A drawing of it.
congratulations on your new, home there, and I the reason I'm just I'm smiling so much because I had a similar experience years ago when we had looked and looked and looked, and I was in this class and I did this drawing, and we ended up in a house that was exactly the drawing had it. A picture of a sailboat. I didn't it was overlooking a harbor with sailboats. And so I can't wait to
Yes.
I have not started your process on the art of manifesting,
You'll
but
love it, and
I
it's
know the
fun.
power of this, and I
Yeah.
can't wait to get started on it, and that is just so cool that you've got
And
this new process that I've never even heard of, but that really, I
well,
think
what's not okay, so what's really cool is, there are other line arts, it's just line art, right? So
Mhm.
what was really interesting was, I love the art of of an artist named Greg A. Dunn. I was fascinated with his work. I loved art that looked like neurons, like, I've always loved that with the, like, little tree things. So and I love tiny bubbles. So and actually it was Dr. Mindy Peltz and we were drawing together and I showed her this. She goes, "That looks like cells." And I'm like, "Yeah, isn't it weird? It looks like cellular art, a lot of it. If you look close, see all the tiny little things." And and I'm like, "Yeah, it does, doesn't it?" It's very so it's like your brain is looking at it going, "Oh, that's alive. That's living tissue. That's real." So, and I'm not the first person. This is just a version of things I'm sure exist all over the place. There are two. Zentangle is one that really is meditative. People love that. And Neurographica, the Russian one, is very strict, but it's also psychological. It's a whole other thing. It's a science-based thing. Mine's just my version, but you get to do what you want in mine. Like, you get to put glitter on my on mine. You can use anything you want. You can put sparkles, you can put crystals, you can do whatever the hell you want with this. And we have no resistance. So this is about follow where your spirit wants you to go. Just follow along and have fun and dance with it. And it's really special. And I'm going to tell you this right now because Anna Denning, who was my she and I made friends, and I showed her what I was doing, and I had told her that I was putting the energy on the paper. And she was doing that too. And then when I got the book deal, because Hay House was like, you need to book on this. Then I called her up and I said, listen, because I had so much fun taking all her little classes in her membership site. I said, you want to do this with me? Because she was also a Reiki master. She was like, yes. So I said, it's totally different than the other stuff you're doing. It's kind of the opposite. But, if you can kind of dance with me on this, because she's such a beautiful artist. And we literally channeled this thing. I swear, Marcy, we don't even know
Mm.
what hit us. We wrote the whole thing in 3 months.
Oh my gosh. Well, congratulations, and I'm as I say, I'm thrilled to get started playing with this. It's we are creators, and this
Yeah,
is a
all of us.
creative process. We're creating the feeling along with,
Yeah.
putting it on paper, and I'm thrilled because I'm not an artist, and I know I can
No,
do
no,
this,
anybody can do this.
and anybody can do this. So,
No,
well,
I'm telling you, if you know how to doodle, you can do this.
I'm a doodling and manifesting, the art of
Right?
manifesting. So,
Yeah. So
yes.
doodle
Well, I
your
wanna
destiny with
I'm
me.
I'm all in. So I wanna let everybody know how you can get more information about Colette and about
Yeah.
her work and order her new book. We're gonna drop the link for you, but also you can go to colettebaronreid.com/book. And,
Yes.
so Colette, I this has been a great conversation, and I always love to end with a quote. I'm gonna end with a quote by you.
Oh.
And the quote is, "All it takes is willingness to let
Mm,
go and let something new reveal itself to you." And I think that that's what we're doing here. We're letting go, we're revealing new things, we're co-creating new things, and I'm really excited about this. So, thank you,
Me too.
Colette, for being here with us.
Thank you. I love you. And you're the best. And we have to have a drawing party.
We'll have
Let's
a
get
drawing party,
you and
okay.
me and you and everybody and like maybe have one at Miracles. We could do that
Let's
sometime.
do it.
All right.
We'll do it. It's a date. It's a
It's a
date,
day.
and I wanna thank everybody for listening today. I hope that you are feeling inspired and uplifted and more in the miracle zone after our time together. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends and family. And you can also take our free 2-minute quiz to find out what your miracle superpower is. You just go to miraclezonequiz.com. And I just want to remind all of us that your life of miracles is waiting for you. It is your birthright. And simply by being here in this conversation today, you are taking a step forward in the miracle zone. I send you my
Yes.
love.